Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Phlegra campaign. As always, I am General Confusion. This was actually meant to be a Skaven campaign video, but unfortunately, after the recent patches, I went into the Skaven campaign and loaded it up and tried looking around, and there seemed to have been some bugs introduced. Some of the Skaven national spells are not working. The Warp Lightning spells, for example, don't appear to pop up anymore on the people who can cast them. Some of my ritual spells were swapped around so the wrong commanders were casting them, who were trying to cast them, who didn't actually have the paths available to select them in the first place. Overall, it was a little bit glitchy. So I put that on the shelf for now. I'll see what we can do about restabilizing it. Not sure how long it's going to be, but in any case, for right now we're going to continue with Phlegra. So obviously this has been a lot slower than we would be in an actual multiplayer game. Probably 13 to 14 turns slower, or at least, a year slower. But we have now we're about to reach Evocation level 4. We've also got Alteration level 5, which means these guys should move up here, is part of what it means. It also means that these guys, we have them out site searching for nature sites right now, but we should start bringing them into our communions, which we can do because we forged some of these hats. So we're going to give him a hat. That makes him a communion master. That means I can bring him in on a communion and give that communion nature magic. This guy should research. That's fine. That'll give him a little bit of a research boost. Our research is pretty respectable. Not fantastic, but pretty respectable, because we have all these communion slaves over here. What I'm actually going to do now is shuffle some communion slaves around, which is important tactically for Phlegra. So specifically, fire and water communion slaves, fairly secondary. Sometimes you want fire and water spells, but for right now, what we need are the air slaves. It's going to take them 2 turns to move up to Nation. In that time, we're going to recruit 1 more slave and then 1 more Trophimos oppressor, because we are going to build Thunderstrike communions. So you can stop recruiting sages and start recruiting oppressors as well. We've got 1 air guy up there. We're going to move this air guy forward. We're going to build a Thunderstrike communion because we will have that capability. We have 26 helots standing there, and we've got this guy back here where we're recruiting archers and cyclops. I only have 1 commander point at the moment, so the first thing you need to do is you need to upgrade us to a giant fortress. And we'll start pumping out shackled mages back here as well. Actually, we may pump out a couple more Cyclops Shepherd Shamans. So, the strategy here is going to be building a communion that can cast a lot of Thunderstrikes without fatiguing out its troops, because Celeria doesn't have any anti-shock damage defenses. We're going to move this guy up to the front, as well as him. Actually, we have enough masters, so all we need to do is recruit as many shackled mages as possible, because we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Thunderstrikers, and if I could back them up with probably 10 or 12 slaves, that would be great. We've got another Cyclops coming out. This guy should forge. What should he forge for us? What was it that I was thinking of? We should continue forging some more thug gear, I think. We've got Fortress Sarpedon, and Fortress Sarpedon was researching for a turn, but that's not really what his life's goal is. Fortress Sarpedon's life goal is to go into battle, and he has all the gear necessary to do that. Fortress Salzar also needs to get some gear. So, Cleone, give that to Salzar, and that to Salzar. Hyperion, give that to Salzar. Now, Hyperion can actually be scripted, since we have the paths for it and the research for it, can actually be scripted to cast flaming arrows to back up our armies. So he's going to cast Phoenix Power, then he's going to cast flaming arrows. Where'd it go? There it is. After that, he will... he's got fire gems, but he's also got lots of gear. So actually, this chainmail will give that to Salzar, because Salzar will be the one going into combat immediately. Hyperion will be sort of behind. These are all Helot warriors. That's fine. These Helot warriors should go to Salzar, I think, and those archers can go to Hyperion. those are all on guard commander. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll set 5 of these guys onto guard commander. So Salzar is going to go straight into combat. We've got these blobs of troops up front. Archers kind of behind them. Hyperion is not going to go directly into combat. So all these guys are on hold and fire orders. These guys are also on hold and fire orders. So Salzar, Ironskin, Summon Earth Power, Temper Flesh, and Attack. And he's right up at the front. Fortress Hyperion, Phoenix Power, Flaming Arrows, which will also make all our javelins flaming. And then... probably just Temper Flesh and then Attack. He doesn't really... I mean, these guys don't really need Iron Skin is the thing. With Berserker, their protection is already over 20, which is pretty solid. And you do want them to take 1 hit in order to trigger the Berserker. After that, they're solid against normal troops. Well, the Iron Skin's still important to make them nearly invincible to normal troops. So we'll throw Iron Skin on him as well. So he'll be 4 turns before he goes into attack. So he'll be up there. Okay. So now we don't need Cleonai. These two. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's go take the throne with them. That'd be cool. And then once we've taken the throne, our prophet, who is... Who actually is our prophet? I have not thought about our prophet in so long that I'm not sure I know who or where he is or why. Prophet? Mr. Prophet. Prophet. Tianchi has built a fortress there. Sarpedon, you should go down over here to support this war effort with Othrioneus. You're both summoning allies. Yeah, I don't know actually where our guy is. Mirror Image I need to take off. I figured out why it was that Enceladus was doing no damage while his Mirror Image was up. It goes like this. Repelling, which is a mechanic by which you stop an enemy from hitting you if he's armed with a shorter weapon. Repelling functions based off of an attack roll of the person who's being attacked. The person who's being attacked gets to make a roll against the attacker's defense score, and if they succeed, the attack is repelled. Then there's an opposed morale check. So, in order to push through the repel if you want to do that. And if you push through the repel, you take a tiny little bit of damage and land the hit anyway. If you don't, however, the attack doesn't go off. So the problem was, when he was in mist form, Enceladus was not getting hit because of the mist form by all those weak, pathetic human slaves. As long as he wasn't getting hit, he wasn't triggering Berserk. That meant, since his defense skill was dropped to almost nothing, or actually to 0, by the harassed penalty from being surrounded by infantry, he was getting repelled every time he attacked. And every time he got repelled, he had to make a morale check against the other guy's attack roll in order to push through, which he was not doing consistently. As soon as he berserked, his morale went to 99, and he stopped caring about being repelled, especially because the damage is so low that it couldn't actually hurt him through his massive protection. So, what I'm saying is, Mist Form is actually, or Mirror Image, is actually not positive on these guys because you want them to get hit early. You want them to get hit like once. So, I'm not actually going to do that for him. I am, however, going to summon Earth Power. So Iron Skin, Temper Flesh, summon Earth Power, and then attack. All these guys, set them on, I only want 5, because I can only have 5. Guard Commander, we'll set him just a little bit back to make sure he has time to get his 3 buffs off. And Fortress Enceladus will take that province, I think. I'd like to besiege this fortress. Not sure I have the oomph to do it right now. Let's give these troops to Thymoetes. We're recruiting more troops down here, so he'll wait 1 more turn. Are we recruiting troops up here? No. Well, we should be. If we're not recruiting troops, we should be building forts. Topagog. That place has a lot of recruitment points, so why don't you move down here and you can build a fort on top of this Garden of Pearls. That sounds like a great idea. So we're going to go take that. Actually, Sarpedon, move this way, please. I would like you to be helping out with that fight. Toykros, what was it that I was going to have you forge? You have a Dwarven Hammer. I've got a second Cyclops coming out, so if nothing else, why don't we forge another Dwarven Hammer real quick to give to him. Great, and Calicolon, you are weakened because it's winter and you're old. So you might get another one next turn. That's fine. Fortress Othronius. Let's just have him capture slaves for now. And we will recruit a couple of cataphracts. And I think... let's also recruit a Gigante to serve as garrison. That runs us out of recruitment points. Okay, let's recruit just a Gigante for guarding purposes, and then a whole bunch of Helit archers. There we go. Great. Excellent. Nerionius. Your army is doing okay. Doesn't have a whole lot of infantry left, so you probably can't push much further, but I would like to kill Asius. So, let's kill Asius. I've got 3 slaves here. I could bring Euryalus with 2 slaves. That would make him Fire, Water, and Earth 2. And if he's Fire, Water, and Earth 2, he can cast Acid Bolt. If you compare Acid Bolt and Fireball, Fireball does the same damage. They're both armor piercing. Fireball has this large area heat shock that does fatigue damage. Acid Bolt is unresistible. Fire damage doesn't affect it. And it has the area rust effect that hits just the square it's in, with a rust effect that damages enemy armor and makes it possible to break it. Acid Bolt is also more accurate. It does cost more fatigue. But, probably not worth it, to be honest. Probably not worth it to bring him. Probably better off to just leave him researching. But you can cast Swarm, which can be very, very useful when killing single mages. So let's bring this guy, and we'll give him a couple of nature gems. We'll give him 3 nature gems, and a bunch of mouflons to come with him. And so he will attack, and he will attack, and we'll set Pelorus to cast Swarm, so he'll be able to summon a whole bunch of random bugs. Great. And hopefully we'll kill that Grand Thaumaturg, because I would love for him to be dead. Let's also put some province defense in this province, in case Celeria comes back after me. And let's put some province defense in this province as well. This army is moving over here to help besiege down Ashdod. And that looks good for this turn. Research-wise, we're going to hit Evocation level 4 this turn, and push up towards Evocation level 5. Level 4 will give us Thunderstrike, and Acid Rain, which is a cool little acid spell that does area of effect irresistible damage. And level 5 will give us Storm, which lets us boost our air magic, Falling Frost, and Earthquake, which is hard for us to use really efficiently, but not impossible. So let's end the turn. Okay, a couple of undefended provinces were conquered. We hit Evocation level 4. There was a battle in the Silver Wall. This should have been, yes. Because the Throne of Night is still active, we do have Darkness, which is hurting us. But I think Enceladus can handle it regardless. It's, once again, just province defense with human slingers and slaves and light infantry and stuff. So he's going to be fine. With Earth Power, he does have 7 points of reinvigoration. And now he's going to go in and do his thing. His thing where he kills people. They're not even hurting him. He's not even Berserk, because he hasn't been hurt. Because with that 27 protection, these guys can't hurt him. Yep, there we go. Didn't even need the Berserker. Yep, 16 kills. We lost 4 Healed Archers, but nobody cares. Nashin has been conquered, but the fort still say... Ooh, so they moved in on me. Interesting. Battle in Nirn. This was us attacking, hopefully, the Grand Thaumaturg. No, it looks like he went away. That's alright. Got some troops here. Does have a Legatus Legionis and Atticus the Centurion. 2 Centurions. That seems like more commanders than is necessary. Okay, so Pelorus is going to cast Swarm. We've seen this spell before. It just summons a whole bunch of bugs. The interesting thing about them is that some of them are flying and have armor negating damage, which, and they all have reasonable defense skills, actually, or most of them do. Dragonflies do, large beetles do, a bunch of the others are just kind of crap, but anything with a tiny bite is alarmingly dangerous to single enemies. And giant scorpions actually have multiple hit points, which is interesting. The Mouflons are going to charge right in. They are undisciplined. Their attacks are garbage, and their hit points are not even exceptional, so they're not going to accomplish much. But they will charge in and hurt some of these slingers. And they're not dying quickly, so there's that for them. These poor Romans. These Triariuses are just, oh no, we're being headbutted by sheep! What an undignified battle! There we go. And we only lost 1 Mouflon. Wow, impressive. And in Fairy Forest. Okay, this is going to be the big one. Let's see how it went. So, in our corner, 2 Tyrants, Fortress Hyperion and Fortress Salzar, 2 large blocks of infantry. In the enemy corner, a big gang of barbarians, backed up by a significant archer line, 2 sages with astral pearls, two more sages back there, another sage, and a lore master. And this lore master has Earth, Astral, Death, and Blood. And he's got Earth, Astral, and Death gems, as well as 4 blood slaves. If they communion up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 slaves will make him more powerful by 2 paths, but it looks like they are not communioning, at least not yet. Okay, we're getting the flaming arrows cast ready. Okay, there go the flaming arrows. So Fortress Salzar is buffing himself up. He's buffed up to 28 protection. He's got his reinvigoration going. They are casting Mind Burn. You can see the flaming arrows are tearing these barbarians apart. Slowly. Yeah, they're dropping Mind Burn on Fortress Salzar. It's not working yet because of his natural 18 magic resistance. There we go. That was a significant hit. They can't spam Mind Burn too hard because it will kick their fatigue up into the stratosphere. Yeah, now they're switching to Starfires. The only one that will be able to Mind Burn, even he can't. He's already fatigued out. So let's see if Salzar can survive. I think he probably can. He is berserking, so his protection is up to 30. His attack is up to 15. And Hyperion is going into the back lines. Yep, Hyperion's going for the archers. The barbarians are routed. There are some undead coming up, but we have cleaned up the infantry lines. And the Astral Mages have resorted to Starfires. Still, this does show off a significant, I would say, weakness of the Tyrants, which is that magic resistance negates spells kill them just as easily. I can't catch him. Magic resistance negates spells kill them just as easily as anything else. They have high magic resistance, but not unusually high magic resistance. And they don't have access to the astral spell Anti-Magic, which buffs magic resistance. So, without that, this guy actually has an affliction. Without that, you have to give them gear that boosts magic resistance, otherwise they become... In the late game, it's totally worth it to dedicate a whole bunch of Astral Mages to just spamming Soul Slay at them, or something like that. So, we won. Casualty-wise, very, very low, and you can see the Heal-Up Warriors actually did significant killing. A lot of that I put down to the Flaming Arrows. Those 2 volleys wiped out a good chunk of these barbarians before they could reach my lines. We started to destroy the fort in Ashdod, severely damaged. In Forbidden Forest, we got some gold and lost unrest. Excellent. In Tiradir, we got some gems for no cost. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And we are under siege in Nashin. So we've got 110 units besieging us in Nashin. Alright. Time to show off the Thunderstrike communion then. 1, 2, 3. Don't want them. All of you guys break the siege. Also take him, actually. Yeah, all of you guys break the siege. And they are moving in. They've got 1, 2, 3. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we do need 8. Okay. So, here's how this is going to go. Round 1. We do not summon Earth Power. We do want Iron Skin and Strength of Giants. I need to press Y. Everybody who's breaking the siege needs to be highlighted there. So this army... Yeah, okay. So Mist Form is fine. Temper Flesh is okay. I don't need Temper Flesh, though. So, the second round and every round thereafter, what we're going to want is to be casting Thunderstrike, which is an air spell here. It has cost 50 fatigue. It does a huge amount of armor negating damage to one square, and then it does 2 points of armor negating damage to a wide area of effect, which can stun anyone nearby. So, it's only precision 2, so I may want to cast Aim for my second round. And then Thunderstrike 3 times. You're summoning Earth Power, and then cast Aim, and then Thunderstrike 3 times. With 8 slaves boost you by 3 paths, which means each of these guys is going to be effectively air 4. So for them, Thunderstrike will cost 25 fatigue. We then divide 25 by 9. That's the oppressor and 8 slaves. And 25 divided by 9 comes out to about 2.7, with less than 3 fatigue each. Now, the Trophimos oppressors, here's the interesting part. The Trophimos oppressors have 1 level of air magic. The slaves also have 1 level of air magic, except the ones who don't have any air magic at all. That's important. So, for the ones with air magic, since they, before the communion boosts, have the same level of air magic as the Trophimos oppressors, the extra fatigue is not multiplied by anything. It just stays the same at like 4. I think it's then increased. I'm not entirely sure how the mechanics work out, but basically, by casting Thunderstrike, especially with Summon Earth Power active, we ensure that our air random slaves will not really take damage. I am going to leave a couple of these guys with crossbows just to lower the... why can't he have that? Oh, he's lost an arm. Oh, so he could still have it if he's lost an arm, but if I take it away, I can't give it back. Interesting. Okay, fair enough. I'll give it to somebody else. Break siege. You're moving. So yeah, the ones who are moving in don't need any instructions. We'll give you a crossbow because you're a water random. You're actually a water random, so you're not helping here. You are not participating in this adventure. You are, though. You're moving in from somewhere else, though, so I can't give you an item. So you need to have that. You're casting Iron Skin. And then we need... Fire should be your general order. Oh, darn it. Okay, so Iron Skin... Aim... and Thunderstrike, and Thunderstrike, and Thunderstrike. Okay. You, Fortress Othrionis, should be out in front. Mouflons should also be out in front. We're also going to need some troops to break the siege with us. So, we are going to give them to Othrionis here. And let me see, yeah, he will be on Guard Commander. Is going to be at morale 11, that's fine. We'll put them up front. We'll put the archers kind of over here. These guys have no leadership whatsoever. These guys actually do have 45 leadership. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of break these troops up so I can flank out a little ways. Going to break those troops up so I can flank out with them a little ways too. And these guys I will give to him. And they can attack rearmost. Then troops. Hold them fire closest. Hold them fire. Hold them fire closest. And hold and fire. Fortress Othronius has 4 fire magic natively. But yeah, he's just going to go through his buff cycle and go into melee. He could cast fire arrows, actually. So let's give him a couple of fire gems. Like that. And he will throw up flaming arrows, and then he'll cast Iron Skin and Fire Shield and attack closest. Great. So, all of you guys break the siege. So that will be, except for Alcestis, actually. No, you research, Alcestis. Why did I give you the troopers? Give them to him. To Eteocles. So that'll be 3 Thunderstrikers breaking the siege. We then also have Sthenelos and Calicolon moving in. Where are they? Sthenelos. You are going to want... So we've got Mistform, Iron Skin. What all do we have on our slaves? We probably want all of them to cast Iron Skin, to be honest. Mistform is a good defensive one. Cast Iron Skin. Aim. And Thunderstrike, Thunderstrike, Thunderstrike. And then you cast spells. You just keep on casting, actually. You can be back there. I'm going to pull these mages back a little ways. Thunderstrike, rather, has a long range. Has range 100. You can cast Thunderstrike from anywhere on the battlefield. And then we need Calicolon. You should also cast... Oh... What should you cast? You should also probably cast Iron Skin. Honestly, casting Iron Skin in a game where you're going to be Thunderstriking a lot is kind of risky, but they shouldn't ever really get close to me. Aim. Thunderstrike. 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 Cast spells. And Calicolon can go down here behind these troops. And then my slaves will just kind of be scattered around the backfield. They're going to be buffed pretty solidly. Also... Oh, I can't give him a hat. He doesn't have the hat. Who'd I give the hat to? I gave the hat to Atalos. Atalos, move up here, please. So, they're all going to break the siege. They're going to move in to join the siege. Let's bring these guys in. We might as well. Having 6 more helots can't hurt. The besieging army: ghouls, slingers, praetorian guards, and archers, commanded by Verbius the Thaumaturge. Tukros, research for now. I'm not really thinking about what I want you to do yet. Do I just not have a prophet? Is my prophet dead? It's possible that my prophet is dead. In any case, let's actually split this army up, maybe? Yeah. Salzar, come back here. And give all these guys to Hyperion. And Hyperion can... Okay, that's... Yeah, like that. Kind of mix them up a little bit. And then Salzar. Hyperion can go take that. Salzar can move back here. Hyperion... you don't need to be casting flaming arrows for this. So just, Temper Flesh, Iron Skin, Earth Power, and attack. Great. And Sarpedon is also moving up. Ashdod is under siege and should be sieged down fairly quickly. We've got a decent little army going on here. 65 units. Hold and fire, and Thymoetes can be in the middle. Then Atalos. Actually, we could give Atalos his own cadre of slaves, of communion slaves, to kick him up to Nature 3, because, of course, he can cast Wooden Warriors. For that, I really want people to be in boxes, to be honest. The only problem with that is that spamming Wooden Warriors would kill my communion slaves quickly, because fatigue cost 50, cut that down to 25 because he's effectively Nature 3, divided out by 5 people, it's 5 fatigue each, but since they don't have nature magic, the slaves all get that multiplied by 4 to 20 fatigue per cast. If he casts Wooden Warriors 10 times, they start taking damage. Now, still worth it. I mean, that wouldn't be the... I mean, 10 is a long, long time to be continuously casting. But... yeah, actually, I guess I might as well. Just cast Wooden Warriors, and then stay behind troops. Mark could even tell him to retreat. Yeah, just stay behind troops. Throw Wooden Warriors, and then stay behind troops. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put these guys in a box formation up front. And we'll put him kind of in the middle of them so he can throw Wooden Warriors. And while Thymoetes stays back with the archers. The Mouflons, which are undisciplined, will also be right here so they can be blessed. So these guys can move out. He's recruited an assassin there. Ghouls and Praetorian guards there. Cast Swarm. You can cast Swarm once, that's fine. Or you can cast Wooden Warriors once, actually, since you have a gem. Yeah, cast Wooden Warriors once, Pelorus. Just stand right there and cast Wooden Warriors on your Mouflons. And you two move up there to take that province. We're recruiting slaves here still. We've only got one Communion Master, but that's fine. We need more Communion slaves first. Grenicos, search for magic sites, please. We're building up the fortress there. Okay, let's see how this battle goes. This will be interesting. This will be the first time I've really tried the Thunderstrike Communion outside of test games. And things can always go wrong when there's actually a little bit on the line. So we'll see how good / bad it really is. Oh, also, I need to be recruiting a mage here. Yeah, start recruiting another tyrant. Please. Echios was assassinated. Echios killed an assassin? What? A shackled mage? So here comes the assassin. Here's this shackled mage with 1 point of fire magic. He prepares to cast fire darts. One casting from a precision 8 caster of what is possibly one of the... It's in contention for most useless combat spell in the game. And he hit the assassin and aced him with one shot, 1 second. Yeah, he just hit him with a fire dart and killed him. Instantly killed him. Good job, Echios. You've done your country proud. Alright, battle in Nashen. Let's view this baby. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oppressors. They're Communion Masters, Magic Boost 3 from 8 Communion Slaves. So they're effectively level 4 in each of their paths right now. The Mouflons are going to charge. We are casting Flaming Arrows. The Cavalry are also charging. Okay, so we've gotten our basic spells up. Iron Skin. We have a couple people cast Iron Skin. One guy cast Mist Form. One guy cast Summon Earth Power. So I guess I messed that one up. So with the Summon Earth Power, he's effectively now Earth 2, but the important part is that it's giving Reinvigoration to all of the slaves. So the Air Slaves are at Fatigue 9. Where's an Earth Slave? Air. Earth Slaves are at Fatigue 8. And they all now have Reinvigoration 4. On the other side, we've got a whole bunch of ghouls, infantry, A couple of Mound Kings, some Roman infantry up there. In the back, we have one Thaumaturg and one Solarian Cultist. So this is actually a really good Thunderstrike target. We've got our Flaming Arrows up. Everybody's casting Aim. Fatigue-wise, you can see fatigue is now actually going down since we're casting low-effect spells, and we have Reinvigoration, and we're getting ready for Thunderstrikes. There goes the Thunderstrikes. Okay, so 1 round of Thunderstrikes. Air Slave, 15 fatigue. Nothing. Not important. Earth Slave, 35 fatigue. Significantly more, because since he doesn't have any air paths, those Thunderstrikes are multiplied by, the fatigue is multiplied by 4 before it gets to him. Now, the Reinvigoration will still help, but that was only 1 round of Thunderstrikes, and it kicked him up about 30 points of fatigue. So 30 points, 7 rounds, and he's 6 rounds, and the 7th round he would start taking damage. It would probably be 8, counting the Reinvigoration. But more Thunderstrikes coming in, and doing very significant damage. Like, really significant damage. My Cataphracts have gotten to the back lines, and I think they killed the mages or drove them away. We have now gone off script, so now we're casting Legions of Steel. So, with Legions of Steel, now my air randoms are taking more fatigue, and my earth randoms are going to be taking less. Earth mages love to cast earth buffs off script. And they're casting Iron Warriors, they're going to cast Blade Wind, but I think I should get out of this without actually losing any slaves. I think. Fatigue 82, Fatigue 83, yeah. Because they're casting cheaper spells. Iron Warriors, fairly low fatigue. Ghost Wolves, fairly low fatigue. And lower path requirement, so that fatigue is reduced even further by their, by the fact that they're effectively 4 paths right at the moment. So yeah, fatigue now very, very low for all the slaves, and of course the oppressors have almost none, because it's all been split with the slaves, and they have not been penalized. So, overall, we lost 3 Cataphracts, 5 Warriors, all of our Mouflons. The Trophimos Oppressors got 34 kills between the 5 of them. Our 1 Tyrant got 6, our infantry collectively killed less than the oppressors did. The forces of Solaria lost almost their entire army, including their Thaumaturg and their Solarian cultists. Thunderstrike is an incredibly powerful spell. Not only does it do a lot of damage, it also stuns. If you don't have shock resistance, like widespread shock resistance, Thunderstrike will mess up your whole day. The very fact of being able to cast it effectively isn't like there are some spells that I would say, like, you know, this is an X nation because they have access to those spells. Thunderstrike is one of them. Phlegra is a Thunderstrike nation in a way that most nations just aren't. And it's important enough that it should be said that way. Phlegra is a Thunderstrike nation. Phlegra is also an Acid nation, which is another characteristic that most nations don't have and that is very important. With very minor boosting, they have the ability to cast one of what I would say is one of the most effective summons in the game, Manifest Vitriol, which summons green lions that are effectively Acid Bolt casters, and also ethereal and good in melee. So they also have the ability to cast spells like Acid Rain and Acid Storm, which are, you know, damage spells that can't be resisted, which is a hugely, hugely valuable characteristic. But the ability to do this fairly cheaply and easily, to set up, you know, okay, it's 13 mages, that's true, but 8 of them are super, super cheap mages, and 5 of them are still not very expensive. And if you take those 13 mages, effectively you get 5 Thunderstrike casters who won't fatigue out. Like, they just won't. If the battle goes on for a long time, your shackled mages may start to die, but you may notice, even after they went off the reservation and started casting whatever came into their heads, the shackled mages, none of them had hit 100 fatigue, so none of them had reached even half the level that would be necessary to start taking damage. And I could easily add another Trophimos Oppressor to cast Thunderstrike. I could probably add 2 more and still be safe. And as armies get larger, against large armies, Thunderstrike is devastating because it does AoE damage. So against larger armies, the Thunderstrike damage just keeps mounting up. On top of that, that was not very efficient scripting. I could probably have just removed aim and had them start casting Thunderstrike right away, and it would have been fine. So, in Nirn, there was another battle. Solaria is coming in with a small army to attack my small army. Excuse me. Pelorus drops wooden warriors on the archers instead of the infantry. I don't know why. I have no idea why you would target the archers over the infantry, but okay. The Mouflons are going to charge in, as they always do, against the Praetorian Guard, and they will get absolutely murdered, but, importantly, they will hold the Praetorian Guard up while the ghouls come in alone and get butchered. So my infantry can clean up the ghouls, and then they can go in and fight the Praetorian Guard. They might still lose, because Praetorian Guard are actually pretty solid, but... Oh, the armies of Solaria are routed. Nice. Okay, cool. I did lose 7 Heelot warriors and 7 Mouflons, and my... looks like some of my surviving Heelots retreated, but that's fine. In Spring Bay, my army is moving into Vanheimish territory. This is just province defense. Who's summoning lesser elementals? Oh, he's got a Dwarven Smith here. The Dwarven Smith is one of Vanheim's national mages. He has a Master Smith bonus and Earth Magic and randoms. So, very useful, not too expensive. And in this case, he's summoning Earth Elementals, which are getting massacred. Hopefully we kill him. Yeah, it looks like we did. He fatigued out, so we got to kill him. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, definitely killing a Dwarven Smith is worth it. And then in Teradir, we were attacked with a pretty significant army. I had expected to be attacked here, which was why I had moved my army back. Now, Salzar may be able to hold this by himself. The infantry will probably be killed. Oh, but we've also got Sarpedon. Oh, this is in the bag. This is 100% in the bag. They can't kill my 2 tyrants. They just can't. I mean, they've got lots of troops, but it's not going to work out, bro. Even the Einhirs are not going to do it. Like, they're going to drop into my back lines here, but my leadership won't be destroyed. Simply will not. Salzar isn't even berserking yet, and as a consequence, he has 18 defense skill. So the Einhirs are getting riggedy wrecked. Partially because they have not been blessed, it looks... Oh, well, yeah, Einhirs aren't sacred in this era. And, yeah. It's all over but the crying at this point. I guess he didn't have Earth Power scripted. He did, though, which is why his fatigue is still 17. Actually, did he? Because his fatigue is going up. Yeah, and now it's going back down again. Okay. Yeah, that was a rout. Basically, Phlegra lives and dies by its leadership. If you have leadership on the field, let me be specific, if you have tyrants on the field, Phlegran armies become much, much more difficult to kill, just because the tyrants will berserk, and once they berserk, you have to actually kill them. They're not going to run away. So long as they have reinvigoration. They must have reinvigoration. You must cast Earth Power, because without it, with their encumbrance and then the extra 4 encumbrance from berserking, they will fatigue themselves out fairly quickly, and then their berserk goes away, and then they wake up, and they're not berserk anymore, they're already routing, and it's a bad scene. But with berserking tyrants on the field, Phlegran armies are really, really good, because the Helots will tend to fight at least as long as normal humans. Like, Helots with a tyrant on the field have the same morale as Herdmen, as long as they're led by the tyrant. And so it's a lot better. I lost my province defense, but nobody cares about that, and I only lost 8 real units for 48 of Vanheim's units. Looks like I need one more turn to take out Ashdod. We found some gold in Ashdod. And Elder Hill is about to be attacked by knights. But I don't care about Elder Hill, so I'm just going to let that happen. In Cassian Forest. Cassian Forest? Echios. Was Echios in Cassian Forest? Oh, he was. He was attacked while in Casian Forest before he moved out. Poor assassin. Poor Solarian assassin. Solarian assassins are not very good at assassinating, to be fully honest. But they're better than nothing. Okay, I'm going to cut this episode here. We got to see some very, very key things. We got to see the first deployment of the Thunderstrike Communion. We got to see the Tyrants and Flaming Arrows. And we got to see a Shackled Mage no-scope headshot a Solarian assassin. So, good job. I'm going to... Echios, you deserve to be honored for that somehow. But at the same time, I'm not going to free you because, you know, I could use your magical powers. So, just enjoy your life. We'll get you like an extra cup of wine in the evenings or something. Maybe a pillow instead of just laying on the dirt. You know, something like that. So, in any case, thank you all so much for watching. Next time, we are going to assault Solaria because they can't stop my Thunderstrike Communion. I'm quite confident that they don't have the necessary tools to counteract that. The necessary tools to counteract that, by the way, are flying troops like Vanheim has, would be seriously disruptive. You have to guard communions very carefully because they tend to involve a lot of squishy mages. Other Thunderstrikes do pretty decently at counteracting communions, especially because I'm defending them partially by casting Iron Skin, which makes you shock vulnerable. If I was going up against a nation that I knew was likely to counter Thunderstrike me, I would start casting Stone Skin and resist lightning instead. Which I could absolutely do. But, yeah, there are countermeasures. Basically, you want to kill the slaves. If you can kill even a few of the slaves, communions tend to disintegrate rapidly because communions work on this delicate balance of fatigue. For example, I'm working with 8 slaves in that communion that I had. If I lose 1 slave, 2 things happen. First of all, fatigue is being divided fewer ways, which means it builds up much more rapidly. It's a bigger increase than you'd think. And secondly, dropping below that 8 slave threshold means the magic path increase drops to 2, which means all my masters are then only Air 3, which means every Thunderstrike now costs double fatigue. After that happens, things go to hell very quickly. Because, for example, I have 2 Earth slaves in this communion. If one of the air slaves is killed, the Earth slaves are now taking a ton more fatigue, and they will kill themselves. The fatigue from the Thunderstrike. So, you know, if it's only being divided 8 ways instead of 9, and now it's 50 fatigue instead of 25. So 50 divided by 8 is like 7 fatigue, then they multiply it by 4, because they don't have air magic. Now they're taking 28 fatigue per Thunderstrike. I have 5 guys casting Thunderstrike. In 2 rounds, they're taking damage. In 4 rounds, they're dead. Just outright dead. So, you can see how that happens. And once they die, now there's only 5 slaves in the communion, which means fatigue is being divided even fewer ways. So if the battle goes on much longer, those other 5 slaves, they start to die, because now my mages are off path and casting non-air spells that they take increased fatigue from. So you can see how this can happen. A properly defended communion that doesn't lose any slaves can go on for a long, long time. A communion that gets hit by something and loses even 1 or 2 slaves unbalances and self-destructs. It's like a complicated machine that's in motion. It's like a harvester. It can roll along threshing through enemy armies, but if a rock gets into the wheels, it comes apart very, very quickly. So that really is the weakness of communions, and that is why I give some of my masters bows, so that once they go off script, they will resort to plinking with their crossbows, which will take them 24 rounds. And they're not affecting the battle, that's true, but off-script mages often don't affect the battle very much anyway, and they're not building up fatigue ineffectively. Having more of those would actually be a good idea, so I'm probably gonna... I think I'm gonna forge a couple more. Just a couple more golden arbalests. Oh no, the golden arbalests are the ones that shoot quickly. It's the Just Man's Cross that I want. Because the golden arbalest will run out of ammunition much more quickly. Or Piercer. Piercer is armor negating. That's kind of a cool property. The Just Man's Cross does magical fire damage. The Piercer is armor negating. Actually, magical fire damage, because Celeria has those ethereal sacreds. So it's even possible that the Just Man's Cross will actually hurt them. But in any case, like I said, that's going to be the episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Next time we will destroy Celeria, insofar at least move towards destroying Celeria, and hopefully complete the destruction of Ashdod at the same time. Why does man have a ton of celestial soldiers? They can't summon celestial soldiers. Unless... That tells me that Tianxi lost a battle to man in which a whole bunch of their celestial soldiers were charmed. Which is kind of hilarious, albeit also dangerous, because my tyrants can also be charmed. I wasn't aware that charm was a huge thing for man, but that means that actually what I should be doing is I should be forging magic resistance equipment. Like crowns of lead, or something. Lead shields. Lead shields might be the thing. They lower my defense significantly, but in any case, that'll be for the next episode. So thank you all once again, and I'll see you in the next one.